Welcome to the Next Generation Softball. We're here with Fury and Frost, and we're here to discuss Arcana Heart, and this is the first episode of our season.
Which can discuss how to play the game, because the game's just come out and it's quite difficult to get into.
It's actually very different from any other sort of fighting game, especially when you play things like Marvel Street Fighter. Especially Street Fighter. So we're going to introduce you to the general mechanics of the game and how it works, so we can become at least a better player.
So all fundamentals, some character notes, some Arcana notes will be discussed around. So stay tuned and keep watching. Right, Frost, I know you've been playing the game for a while, even before it's been released here. Go over a couple of things that makes this game so different to other fighting games on the scene at the moment.
Well, one of the things that makes this game different to other fighting games is the homing button. It's a button that will send your character directly to your opponent. As you can see there, both characters go straight towards them, no matter what they are. So if you super jump with it, if you just jump, it just goes towards the opponent. And you can manipulate this to do loads of weird movements and come at weird angles. Another thing that makes this game different is the Arcana button. Now, every character has access to specific tools which you can choose. Like Love on the top left gives every character in the game a set of fireballs and lasers if you really want them. So you can choose your tools. Alright, so now that we're going to just explain about the game, the first thing to go over is number notations and just standards in general. Number notation is done by looking at your numpad at a keyboard. So 6 would be forward, 8 would be jump,
4 would be back,
or back would be 4, and 2 would be down. So doing a fireball motion would be called 2, 3, 6.
Yeah, the reason why we're telling you this is because throughout the series we're actually going to be using notations, and we'll be using this format, and it's actually quite important for you to understand how to move. So when we say 2, 3, 6, A, we mean a fireball, a down forward motion with A button. So it's important for you to know. So
the next set of notation that you need to know is A, B, C, D, E. A is a light attack, B is a medium attack, C is a hard attack, D means homing, and E means Arcana button. So now that we have that out of the way,
on the actual arcade stick, it will actually be layered in a sort of N format. So it will be A, B, C at the top, D in the bottom left, and it should be E on the bottom right.
Yeah. So if you play Guilty Gear, it would be like the E button would be where your dust would be, and your homing dash would be where your punch would be. Let's talk about the buttons. A is a light attack, very self-explanatory. B is your medium attack, very self-explanatory. C is your hard attack, self-explanatory. D is your homing button. It goes, like I said, it goes straight towards your opponent. You can cancel moves into homing. Not every single move, but a very large majority of moves. So just block for a moment. As you can see, I've cancelled my attack into her dash.
But I have a question. I'm guessing that sort of tool, is that free or?
It's not free. I'll explain that after a minute. And another thing is that you can press the homing button again to speed yourself up. But I'll be explaining more about homing later because it's quite complicated.
It's one of the things to know in this game. I think.
The E attack is an extra hard attack. It causes wall slam if it hits you. That's standing E or 5E. If you do down E or 2E, it will launch your opponent into the air.
You can actually follow that up.
You can't block this in the air, so jump and block. It just doesn't work. Another thing is you use these to use your Arcana specials. So for example, with Love, a quarter circle forward and E will give you a fireball. Dragon Punch with E or 623 E gives you a beam. And this depends on your Arcana choice, and we'll cover that also later. And that's it.
Alright, in Arcana Heart 3 there seems to be a lot of various bits of gauges and bars and points on the screen. It makes it, to any new player, it makes it seem quite daunting and complicated, unlike the Street Fighter where you've just got the health bar and you've got the super meter
And
like,
Ultra.
and the ultra in the corner or something like that. But explain what everything means in this game, just so it's a bit clear to all our viewers.
Alright, so first thing I should start off with is probably the meter bar at the bottom called the Arcana gauge. And this bar is just like your standard super bar, except that it recharges automatically. So for example, if you look at the bottom left, I've got 1 full stock. The number there shows you how many you've got at the moment. And if you use a super, it goes to 0 and it takes 1 bar away.
A while.
If you notice, it recharges. So basically that's your super meter. As long as you've got 1 bar, you can do actions that cost meter.
Yeah.
The next one at the top, well, okay, let's not include the health bar and the win counters because that's really self-explanatory. At the top left, you've got the force gauge. That's just another type of bar. I'm going to explain that in a lot more detail later because it's quite complicated. For now, all you need to know is if it's flashing blue, you can use it. And that's it.
When it's red.
Yeah.
Besides the life bars and the rounds, it's self-explanatory. The only other thing is there's actual. There's probably going to be a bar or gauge for certain characters, like for Xenia. She has a gauge that you can actually charge. So for every character it's different. In Arcana's case, she has Kodama, so she can actually do charges and actually use them to power up moves and stuff like that. But it's very character dependent, so if you tend to choose a character that has something, just keep an eye on it, because I can a lot.
That explains quite a lot. Yeah, cool. And just go through a couple mechanics and sub-mechanics on how this game works, especially when it's so different to most 2D fighters. Just show ways of getting around.
Well, first thing that we should cover, the most basic mechanics in the game. We've got jumps, we've got double jumps, and obviously everyone has different jump heights. We have air dashes. You can only air dash once while you're in the air, and you can actually air dash and then double jump. So you can do both. Now, the next things you have after that is going to be throws, which is the A and D button at the same time, if you press A and D. Alright, in this game, you have 2 types of throw. Yeah, it does look like it hurts. You have 2 types of throws. You've got neutral throws, which is just, A and D by itself. And normally you can combo after those, like, but you know, it uses cancels to get them. Coming up. Yeah, you're just not very good at it. The next one we've got is side throws. Now, side throws are faster than normal throws. They're harder to break, but you can't combo them, and they just knock you down.
It's better used as an option to when you think the opponent is going to guard or something. You want a really quick way to actually get in on the blocking opponent. So, but of course you sacrifice the potential damage because I think it's like half. It's twice as fast as a normal throw, but it's you just sacrifice damage for it. So it's entirely your choice which throw you want to go for.
It does sound like it's sounds like it gives a reason to have 2.
Yeah, actually there is
some incentive for using it.
Yeah. You can also break the throws by doing pretty much A and D as well. So if 1, 2, 3, go, it breaks. You can do it in the air as well. In the air, you only have 1 type of throw.
Yeah, it's just an air throw.
That was quite militant.
That was quite sick. We've got bursts. Now, burst is C and E at the same time. So if 1, 2, 3, bang. As you can see, when you burst, it knocks your opponent away. And on the top left, the force gauge is recharging slowly, and that happens because burst. You can use burst when you have a flashing blue force gauge, and if it recovered quickly, then you'll be able to burst a bit.
In this game, burst is usually to get yourself out of a potential game-winning combo or a high damage combo. So if you get attacked, or whatever, I can burst in the middle of the combo itself. So as you can see, I can knock them away to give you some space. Although I just use this turtle judgment is very important because your force gauge charges at different intervals. So only use it to when you think you can actually get advantage back, or when you're potentially going to die. That's
I mean, it also depends against what character you fight. Because if you fight against Catherine, you want to burst ASAP.
Yeah.
If she puts you in the corner, you're going to die.
Yeah. So for example, if you're against a rushdown character, sometimes using burst early is a viable option because it gets them off you and it stops their pressure entirely, especially if zoning characters. So up to you to what you want to do.
Can the burst explosion be blocked?
You can
Yes.
block an explosion. I don't know, hit me in the air.
Her trying
You just
again.
have to take my word for it. You can block it, but you cannot bait it. So you can't punish. There are some ways to punish, but they're really unconventional. You just take my word for it for now that you can't punish bursts.
Okay.
The next thing after that is be supers, I guess. I mean, A plus B and a motion will give you a super. So for example, with Arcana, 6-2-3 A and B at the same time gives some sort of Dragon Punch looking super. You know, it takes 1 bar and inputs depend per character. So do how do you do kills? It's a 720 and
720, so
720 A and B.
A and B.
A and B.
That was just number one.
That's close.
Military.
Well, you just have to take my word for that one.
It's
That one as
got
well.
wrapped in it, so fair enough.
No, man.
It's
Wait.
720.
If you do it. Yeah,
There
okay.
we go.
You got it. Okay. So yeah, just any emotion and A and B gives you a super. The last thing we're gonna cover, well, for this section, actually no, it's not the last one, is teching. In this game you have two times you can tech. You can tech in the middle of somebody's combo if the combo doesn't is some fake combo. You do that just by mashing buttons. So like I'm gonna launch into the air, you're just gonna mash buttons. Yes.
I text really quickly, so because I was mashing buttons.
Mashing more buttons does not make you tech quicker.
It's basically it's timing, if anything. So
yeah, pressing buttons will cause you to get out. You do not want to when you mash. You don't want to use the hard or the Arcana button because you might burst. Another thing is wall teching. To wall tech or ground tech, you want to be holding any button when you touch the ground or touch the wall. So hold the button, which goes. You have different ways you can tech.
oh, that's
That was bad language.
yeah, that's
Right, so let's wait for us to come back.
and talk.
So tech, hold up, she jumps when she techs. Tech, hold down, she goes straight to the ground. Another time is when you knock somebody down on the ground and they can tech the ground. So what's what move knocks down on the kill? Try jump B. Right, if you do jump. So if you just hold the button, it techs on the hold the button, it techs like that. Let's do it mid-screen so you can see a back tech. Back tech, she moves more backwards. And the back tech can be cancelled into specials depending on each character, so do it again. I can't do it. I'm
Let's try
really
that
bad.
After you die.
That kick.
Have you heard of hard carry?
As you can see, I haven't recovered yet, but I cancelled it into a special. You can also grab text. Now you can grab air text and air text and wall text. So I'm gonna put you into the corner quickly. Like let me wait till my bar comes back. Right. So take the wall. So as soon as I hit you, get ready to press a button.
That's nice.
Yeah. So you can grab somebody's tech. They can still break it, but air breaking in this game is very difficult. Same for the air. So that wasn't really air. But yeah, that you can basically grab people's tech. And the last thing I guess to cover for basic mechanics is homing. Yeah, it's the button that sends it to your opponent. You can cancel moves into homing, so 1, 2, 3 into homing. like that. That lets you do more combos.
Mhm.
And lets you do air combos. So you cancel a sweep like 1, 2, 3 dash A, and it launches them.
I think the best way to think of it is just immediately after the D itself to press a normal D or a B or C. It varies between character, but that's the best way to do it for side B. Because if you just do D, it just ends up as a hidden dash, so it's best to always press the button straight after to cancel it straight away into a D. Otherwise it just won't chain at all.
Another, the different types of homing you've got is on the ground you've got forward homing. You can't block during that. So do a forward homing and try to block.
My forward homing is kind of... Oh, that's what.
No, it's just...
Yeah.
No, do it from far away, do it from far away. Yeah, do it.
Yeah.
You can't block during that. So yeah, it's like a dash. You can cancel it at any moment. Well, yeah. You can.
It's good for forward momentum, but I really would suggest that unless you can cancel it too.
It's good for combos actually because you cancel stuff into because it can be cancelled straight away. You sweep into forward homing into a combo. Another type of homing you've got on the ground is neutral homing. Neutral homing is the fastest type of homing. It moves the fastest, and when you boost with it goes really fast. And that can be done in the air as well. Then you've got directional homing. Now directional homing is a lot slower, but it's easier to control. So, yeah.
As you know, it's sort of tracking Kira. So really good for just general use really, especially if the character's moving fast like this.
Yeah, you can alter the character's trajectory. That's the right word. Using that. And then the last one is backwards homing, and backwards homing is invincibility. Jump into me, and I'm going to do that, and do backwards homing. You actually cross yourself up there? No, back homing.
Oh, back homing.
Yeah. See, as you can see there, it misses. Backwards homing in this game has invincibility frames, and invincibility frames are very useful for getting out of stuff. But I'm going to explain that more in the next video because it's a bit complicated. So yeah, that would be pretty much the wrap up for the first video.
Guys,
these are just some basics for you to actually get to grips with the system itself and all that. Once you've mastered these, just have a play around with the game itself. Once you've mastered them, just go on to the next video and we'll continue from there.
I'll see you guys soon. Make sure you have fun with this game more than anything else, and make sure
remember to send queries to the email.
To the email down there.
It's here.
Here
somewhere. But anyways,
alright guys, we'll see you next time.
I have to do that. Can't do this too much, man.
Why?
Yeah.
See you next time.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to start explaining how the HUD system works, or what is actually on the screen and what it means. So
okay. So first thing to start is that at the top left, you've got the force gauge.
Edit!